What about highlights for you and your team in the process?
Um, there were many. My goal when we were going to do it in person was to have 800 to 1,000 people. So I said I would feel like we were successful if we had 1,001 RSVPs for the event. And we ended up with 2,840. Not that I counted, but I counted every single one, RSVPs. And we, that was like so exciting. We were really thoughtful about using this event as a way to provide lead generation for our development officers. So I also get to oversee our prospect management and research teams. So immediately following the event on Saturday, we sent all the analytics to the research team who worked over the weekend on Sunday. So Monday, everyone that attended that was a rated prospect or a unrated but a rated prospect but not managed, we were able to provide and send that information out to the development officers so they could follow up immediately. And we were just really, so to me that was like check check check.
Mhm.
Though that to me is a big win. We had principal gift donors. We did at the last minute decided to open the YouTube. We showed it on a premiere of YouTube, and we opened up the comments, and that was another exciting moment because people interacted with us, and two really principal level donors who we know had RSVP'd um, would not stop commenting on everything they were saying. So don't think we didn't follow up with them first thing on Monday. I mean, they were still riding high from the event. So that was an exciting win. The stories all resonate. I mean, I think we've had 5 or 6,000 views now of the show. People keep going back and looking at it. They're sharing it. So it's, if I would have done this event in person, the few people that saw it, that's it, right? Now this just keeps going. It just, I also think we were the guinea pigs. I, I didn't think this was good at the time, but now I will say it's good. We had about 35 or 40 different institutions watching our launch with us. I'm glad I didn't know. I knew you were, but I knew you were. But a lot of people I didn't know, Yale University, MIT, Stanford. I mean, we had like big guys who have pushed off their launches, have pushed off their closes, have pushed off things because they're just not sure. And so they're like, you go first, UC Davis, go ahead. We're going to watch and see what you do. And now we're, like fielding so many calls. I feel like, I'm going to be taking calls for forever because they're just like, how did you know to go? And I'm like, I didn't get an option. Like it was time. So, I mean, I could go on and on. We just received so many positive things, and not just from our donors who it was for, but from our faculty, many of our students that watched and joined us, our peers. That's just like, icing on the cake. So it was, you know I think those are the few things that I would say were big wins. How about for you? Tell me about yours. I
Those
could.
are awesome highlights. Oh my God, I loved all of that. I think the biggest win for our team was the the empowerment that came for our team in being able to take something that could be so devastating and in terms of taking away an
Yes.
experience and being able to pivot
Hmm.
and to do so successfully and in a way that resonated with donors, um, and and to see that it can be done differently. I think
Hmm.
that was such an empowering moment for
Hmm.
them. for all of us really to say, okay, um, we can do this well, and we can get back to the basics, and we don't have to rely as much on some of the in-person experiences
Mhm,
um, to connect with people, right? We
mhm,
um, we can try things that maybe we felt were too much of a stretch or too much of a risk
mhm,
before.
mhm.
Um, Now, we did not deliver our experience live. Um, for most people, it was um, it was delivered by email. There was a website with all of the retrospective stories, but also with the video, and so you could explore the impact in that way. Um, uh, but there was kind of a live component with our top donors in that we did some deliveries of special packages for them with a video card so that they could watch the
Fun.
campaign video that in that way that was customized for them. And that was fun, really
Fun.
fun, because the donors were not expecting really those deliveries.
I love it.
They were contacted in advance, just to make sure they were going to be there.
Right.
But they didn't know why people were coming. They didn't know why the president was coming or their dean, those types of things. And so that was just a fun way to surprise and delight donors that we wouldn't have had with the live experience.
Absolutely.
So again, helping us stretch our thinking and do some things differently
Mhm.
that now I think, well, this is going to be baked in to a process, right? Of
For
how are
sure.
we going to make this experience different
For sure.
for a group of donors who aren't going to attend a live experience,
Mhm,
perhaps in the future, but
mhm,
it's still important that they have that content, right?
mhm.
So
Agree.
I like that part um, for us in terms of stretching.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
Um, Now you all chose to do a live premiere. Um, what led you to that? How do you feel it went? Do you think it um, it attracted people because of the live component?
We did live because we were trying to make it as close to what we think an actual event, right, would have been. Honestly, we didn't even think of any other way to do it.
Hmm.
So it was, we did it live. We did do several practice. Once we decided to do the live comments, we did practice it with both our production company and a small team of people that came together to respond. And we learned a lot the first test, that enough that we had to do a second run through. So we assigned different people to managing the comments and dropping the links for marketing and things like that. So we learned, but yeah, going live was great. My big, I don't know, aha or question mark was when 2,800 people RSVP'd. When it started and only 950 were on, I was like yelling at people like, what's happening? What's happening? Are we having all these technical issues? Did the email get lost? Did the link get lost? Oh my gosh. And my one of my directors of marketing said, Angie, they have the link. They can watch it whenever they want to. And I said, oh my gosh, you're right. And by the weekend, almost everyone, I would say we had around 2,000 people, 2,000 views, and had maybe 1,500 unique. So I know you're seeing this too, and most of us across the country are seeing this with virtual events. The RSVP, the
The no-show rate?
the no-show rate, thank
Yeah.
you, is a really high. But the fun thing is we've tracked everything in iModules, so I know who's watched it now. And I've got almost every single person who RSVP'd has watched my event, watched, not my event, our campaign launch. So, so yeah, that was a big I don't know why I thought 2,800 people were just gonna log in. I thought, well, maybe 500 won't show, but when it was such a low number. So to anyone out there that's planning to do this, just learn from my silliness that people will watch it when they want to watch it. And I think that's sort of the beauty of doing this is they want to sit in their pajamas. You know, you and I are having this conversation at night because it works for both of our schedules, right? So you can watch it whenever you want to. So anyway.
You know,
Yeah.
I think that I mean, that's a really normal reaction. We're, you know, from live in-person events, we have a frame of reference for what the no-show rate is going to be, and we sort of
Yes.
plan for that. And now we're having to relearn and understand how to accommodate that, and also to accommodate it in our metrics. How are
Yes.
we measuring success? And it's, you know, I've likened it to Nielsen ratings. And you know, when DVRs first became a thing and Nielsen ratings had to adjust to accommodate for new metrics of success, how many people were watching live, yes, and how many people are watching in the next 24 hours or in the next, you know, 72
Right.
hours or in the next week. And I'm really fascinated to
That's so
know as we go
cool.
on this journey,
Mm-hmm.
what is there a difference in donor behavior that we start to
Mm-hmm.
see
That's
between those who maybe watch and experience something live versus those who you know, watch it a week later? Is there any
right.
difference, right? And
Right.
if so, how does that influence what we do next or how we deliver
Mm-hmm.
content in the future? But I
Mm-hmm.
love the fact that it is on demand and you can
Mm-hmm.
now I will say, you know, I was sort of halfway paying attention to the communications enough to log in and watch the event that night. And then I realized, oh, I can hit the pause button, which is why I stopped going to the movie theater years ago, because I can hit the pause button at home and still
Right.
enjoy the movie. So
Right.
I loved that I had that aspect. And we don't have that with live events. You can't hit the pause
No.
button once the program starts, right?
Yep. Agree. Yeah. Yeah.
So um, I think we've talked a little bit about measuring success, and you know, it's interesting in this time because we do have to have new measurements, right?
Oh yeah.
And some of it's anecdotal, and some of it
Mhm.
uh, is hard numbers. And I love the integration that you're doing with the data and the tracking.
Mhm.
I think that's going to make a big difference where it needs to in a moment like a campaign launch, right?
Well, and we really thought, Matthew, that so my budget got cut a lot to do this, right? So in I probably had about a third of what I was gonna, not a half, about a third, and still had to, you know, accomplish this. But I had to be able to demonstrate to my university leadership and my development leadership that this was a good investment. I they were ready to go, but they were counting on me to make sure that it would hit the mark and that it would accomplish what we needed to accomplish. So having all of the measurements in mind of how many leads did we generate and then what gifts will those bring in, not it was not just about views, it was not just about that, right? So that was really huge for us, just to be really thinking of. And I would encourage anyone that's thinking about a campaign launch is to really sort of think about what you need to kind of, what your end goal is, right? And plan for that. So because we were ready, we were able to provide all this data, and we're still gathering data. So the story's still not told, right? It'll be 3, 4 months before we have everything that we need to, I think, to tell the full story about the actual success or impact of the launch event. So,
I think that's important too, is
mhm.
really, you know, lengthening the frame of time that we're giving to measure success on some of these
Yes.
initiatives, because there are new factors to consider that we need to
Mhm.
give some sort of air and time to. And for us with a campaign wrap up, um, part of that goal is donor retention, is bringing them into the future, into what's next. And we do that by continuing to tell the story of the impact that they've made. And the impact of that giving continues to grow. Some of it hasn't even necessarily been felt yet, but is going to be. And so for us, the campaign finale, the wrap up, is one moment in time, but it's also a part of a bigger picture, part of a tapestry of impact and gratitude that we continue to tell in stewarding these donors' gifts over time. And that will ultimately be, I think, the measure of success, right? How many of them are participating and still engaged with us and giving as we launch the next
For
version,
sure.
right?
Matthew, did you guys send any kind of an evaluation or survey or something afterwards to just see, to get reaction, to get anything like that?
We did not for this one, and we that was we typically survey the heck out of folks after
Us
every
too.
experience,
Us too.
and I
Mm,
really encourage that. But this, we really wanted it to land as an experience for people.
yeah.
Let them explore the content
Mhm.
and have the feedback be, what we have through conversations as a follow-up, and
Mhm.
not do a formal survey. You all did a survey and I loved it.
We did when we did it immediately following the event. And we had 900 and some participate. And I think we had 550 responses like by the weekend, end of the weekend. So, but we purposely asked some questions. What are will this inspire you to get more actively, involved in this campaign? What are you interested in? What would you like to know more about? So all of the questions it was six questions. What will help us drive the next 6, 9, 12 months. So yeah, I just wondered if you guys did any kind of evaluation, because I don't know how you would do that in the format that you used. So, okay.
And again, we always want to ask questions that give us information that we can then act upon.
Mm-hmm.
And this was, really sort of a tying a ribbon on an experience.
Mm-hmm.
So there wasn't necessarily a lot other than informing perhaps what we would do differently next time we're wrapping a campaign, but it's so far into the future. And so how do we, let this experience unfold for our donors without that piece? Whereas when you're launching a campaign, you're just getting that
Gotta get the
momentum
momentum
going,
started.
right? And I loved your inclusion of interest areas. What do you want to hear more about?
Mm-hmm.
That is actionable information for your development teams
Yep.
be able to follow up on. I love that.
And all of that information was and is being shared with our research team, who can link it up because we tracked it in iModules.
Mhm.
So they know Matthew Helmer is really interested in pain control or aging in place, and he participated, and this is what he responded to the survey, right? So I know I love data. I love surveying. Love the whole thing.
It can really change
It's
what we
over.
do and how we do it. Now that it's over, you love it. Yeah.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Um, okay, so let's wrap this up. Though I
Okay.
hate to, but my margarita's
No.
almost, so I feel like
Okay. There you go. And I'm ready for
we
dinner.
have
So
to. Um, if you're ever in a similar situation, is there anything that you would do differently? And I asked that question, holding my hands up saying, I hope we're never in a similar situation.
well, I might answer that with I don't think we'll ever not do an event and not have a way to make it virtual and make it more accessible to bigger, broader groups. I think going forward, any event we do will have some type of a virtual option. If I did it over again, I probably would have liked a little bit more money because I feel like there was more that I think we had grandiose ideas and really cool ideas that we just didn't get to do. I don't know that I would have asked for more time because, we planned and we're doing this 2 years out, right? So we were right on track with that. I had such amazing leadership. I honestly, I think if I had to do it again, I could do it. I just really hope in my 30 plus career that I don't have to work this hard again, because that was hard. It was hard, but now I know how to do it, right? And I have 2 to 3 calls a week of people from around the country saying, tell us how you did it so we can go do it. So that was not a very good answer, but
Hey, trailblazed. I love it.
yeah.
Great thing.
Do you know my most favorite acknowledgement was from Sue Cunningham, the president of CASE, who we did not know. My vice chancellor and I did not know she was participating until immediately following. She sent an email to Sean congratulating us. And I covet that acknowledgement. And that was kind of a career highlight for me for a really long career I've had. Just for her to say, well done, well done. So,
wow. Kudos. That's well deserved.
Thank you.
Really
Thank you.
It was a fantastic experience.
I think we did it, right? We survived and our people loved it. That's the bottom line. If our donors had an amazing experience, they feel appreciated from your end, and for my end, they feel motivated to get involved. Ta-da, touchdown, we did it. That's our job. That's what we get up every day and do. And sometimes the world makes it a little more difficult and challenging, but we're both lucky we have amazing teams surrounding us. And we have Lynn Wester and amazing colleagues. How many times do we call each other, the donor relations guru group, just to have a moment,
Yes.
Have your network, call on your network. So
that part's super important. Just knowing that we're not in this alone, even when we might be alone,
yes,
trying to work through it.
exactly.
That part is so very important.
Yeah, and we're both available, and we are happy to talk with any of you about what we went through, and we'll tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly.
There's a little bit of that.
There's a little bit of that.
Well, thank you all for, I don't know, sitting through this virtual experience, this experience of ours for the first time. Let us know what you think.
Do you like it? Should we keep doing it?
Yeah.
Good.
I think that's what we want to hear from you all, and the challenges that you're facing as you navigate Campaign Waters in particular, because it's a different landscape for us all. Yeah.
Just keep moving. Just keep trudging forward. We can't stop. Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Matthew. It was good to see your face.
Thank you, Angie. You too, always. I so appreciate our time together.
Same here. Same here.
Okay.
We'll see you soon.
See you later.